Well, good morning. It's the 14th of July. It's a Monday morning. I hope everyone's good. Some of you may know that I recently turned 50, and I believe that there is a certificate in the mail. It's on its way to me that gives me the right and the permission, and I expect the responsibility to deliver unsolicited wisdom at any given moment to anybody who hasn't asked for it. This is one of those moments. I thought I'd share with you guys an insight that I had, or an epiphany, I suppose, that I had a week or so ago. My wife and I were fortunate enough to visit with some friends in France who have a beautiful chateau in the south of France, and we spent some wonderful time there. And a wonderful analogy presented itself to me that I thought was worth expanding on. I am a creature of habit, and certainly one of the habits that I have that our wonderful hosts, Scott and Claudina, were made aware of by my wife, is that I am very happy with a peanut butter and honey sandwich as a way to start my day from a nutritional point of view, um, and don't need bacon and eggs and other fancy things or cereals or anything like that. A very simple fella, I would say. And they very graciously provided this for me on the first day that I prepared my peanut butter and honey sandwich, which I like to have as an open sandwich, usually two slices of bread. That may be too much information, but I noticed that something wasn't quite right. I didn't have the normal experience that I was used to. I thought maybe it's the bread in France is different, or the air is different, or I don't know, the honey is from a different place. Couldn't quite figure out what the problem was. It took me a day or so to really pay attention to it and understand that what I was having was sliced crustless bread. And what was missing for me was a significant part of the experience of having bread, which was the crust. And I can imagine a number of scenarios where crustless bread is an attractive idea. I went out with Scott, our host, and bought some real bread, and the following day was really paying attention to the experience of eating the sandwich and noticed how enhanced and deepened the experience is with crust on the bread, how you have to chew it more, how the taste is different, how the texture is different. The whole experience was, in my view, amplified. And I suppose this sat with me because there's some things that I've observed over time um, that have kind of raised questions and caused raised eyebrows and left some unanswered thoughts or uncompleted thoughts in my brain. One of those was we do seem as a society to aspire to crustless bread as an analogy. We seek greater comfort, greater luxury. We have our groceries delivered to our house. We have electric windows and in our vehicles and starter button on a motorcycle. I'm very much a petrol head, particularly like old things. So many of my motorbikes will require a kickstart or require being kicked into life by me. And my old cars have wind-up windows that you have to open and close. And in and of itself, advancement in technology, um, I don't think is a bad thing. I guess we just don't always realize that we're also often stripping away elements of the experience um, that bring quality to our lives in ways that maybe that we don't expect. And so, as we achieve crustless bread in so many scenarios and spaces in our world, I think we may be robbing ourselves of some of the quality of those experiences. And when I thought about it a little bit more, I also realized that thing that's been a concern for me over time is also how we raise our children these days, how we seem to have this idea that they shouldn't have any friction in their life, that they shouldn't ever be uncomfortable, that they shouldn't ever be um, nervous or challenged or even experience some pain at times. And so we aspire also to create for them a world of crustless bread, which for me is very, very worrying at a fundamental level. Because if we think about the bread, the The crust forms because it is exposed to the heat. The heat is necessary to actually make bread. You cannot transform a piece of dough to a loaf of bread without significant heat. And if you don't have a crust, if the crust doesn't form, the bread inside will be terrible. It will be dry. It will lose all of its moisture. There are a whole lot of problems. You wouldn't have bread if the crust didn't form. And the crust is a result of the heat and the friction of the process. And so when we, in the lives of our children, try and remove the friction and the heat and the discomfort and the challenge and all of those things, we're not going to allow good bread to form. In fact, we're probably robbing our children of the confidence of knowing that they have the ability to deal with the basic challenges of life, of knowing that they can go through difficult things and come out on the other side with crust and proper bread on the inside. So I guess I'm encouraging you not to too far towards crustless bread in your own life choices and in your own aspirations for life. But certainly as we raise our children and as we are part of a community that raises the children within it, maybe be less anxious about allowing our children to explore the world, to get lost and find their way, to fall down and scrape a knee, to challenge themselves and test themselves, and embrace the friction of the world so that they can form fully and have a deeper experience. I'm sure you have many, many reasons why you would like to have crustless bread in your life. And if you want to share those, feel free to do that. I hope you have a great week. Cheers.